Hello there. How are you? I kind of missed you last week. I know that we had art, but I didn't really connect with any of you. Well, we didn't really have art because it was Friday, but I did push out a lesson on Monday, and some of you actually did it. So thank you for joining me on Bonus Monday when we didn't have school on a Friday. All right, today's going to be this is one of my favorite things to teach, and thanks for joining me. So this is some math, a little bit of science, just a whole bunch of good stuff all wrapped into art today. What we're going to talk about is how you take a shape and create the illusion of a form. So making something look like it's 3D. And we're going to be using oil pastels. So hopefully you have those oil pastels that I sent home to you in a baggie. They might have just looked like maybe they were kind of short. Maybe they had their papers on. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were kind of dirty. But maybe they only had a few colors, not the colors you love. That's okay. We're still going to make them work today, okay? So just like always, let's get ready. Do a repeat after me, even if it's a whisper, even if it's silently in your head. I am an artist. I am a creator of ideas and a solver of problems. Sometimes the problems are on my paper. Sometimes they're with my neighbor. Sometimes they're inside of myself. But I know I can solve problems because mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. And I am proud to be an artist. I miss you, but I'm still proud of you. I love that many of you are emailing me and sending me the pictures of your art, or you're including them in that Google slide. It's at the very tippy top of what's it called? Classwork, I think, in Google Classroom. Anyway, it's at the top and it says my artwork, 5th grade. Keep sticking pictures of your own art in there. That's so cool because you'll have this big collection of art after a few months, and it'll be yours. Pretty cool. Okay, what's happening today? Chloe, lots of you know Chloe. Chloe has been sending me artwork, and she is mastering this digital art tool. She said she's going to teach me how. She's even taught her little sister how to use it. Her little sister's name is Clara. There's her sister's work. But Chloe and Claire, oh my gosh, I can't say it. Chloe and Clara have been working on this tool without knowing what we were going to learn this week. And it was such a coincidence because I was like, you guys, I'm actually going to teach the kids how to kind of show this concept. You know how it looks like the apple is round? The apple has that bright, shiny spot. The apple on the underside is looking darker in value, and then it has a shadow underneath. And I'm going to show you how to do that today with oil pastels. So here's Claire. Claire got a little fancy and even added a leaf on there. But even her leaf has different values. There's kind of a darker, a medium, and then the light. And all of those are in relation to the light, to the actual light, like the sunlight or a lamp or something. So we've got some cool concepts to work on today, and then put them into practice, in a piece of paper and with oil pastels. So you could either pause this right now and go get oil pastels, or keep plunking along with me and then pause it later when it's just about time to actually do the drawing. Your choice. But thank you, Clara and Chloe, for sharing your work. All right, so shape, form. Again, here's where we're going to start to kind of pull in some math terms. So a shape in math are those simple shapes: circles, rectangles, quadrilaterals, parallelograms. We could keep going, right? But when those shapes become three-dimensional, in art, they become a different word. We call them forms. I think in math, that's when you use the word figure, a three-dimensional figure. Am I right? You should know this, not me. I think it's a figure. But anyway, I'm going to go with the art term, which is form. A circle is flat. A sphere is three-dimensional, like a ball. So there is a difference there. And there is definitely a difference in how you add shading or color to those. Coincidentally, we just worked on shading together, didn't we? I wonder if that was on purpose. Why, yes, it was. All right, here's one of those quick little short videos that talk about the word form.
Form. In art, a form is a three-dimensional shape, or the illusion of a three-dimensional shape. A form can be any object that has volume to it, or a form can be a drawing or painting of an object that looks like it has volume. Artists use different techniques to create the illusion of three-dimensional forms in two-dimensional spaces. For example, this artist used value and linear perspective to create the illusion of form in this drawing.
Pretty cool.
Form.
Oh, come on.
In art, a form is a three-dimensional shape, or the illusion of a three-dimensional shape.
There we go. It does it to me every single time. When I play a video, I have to hit the button just perfectly. Okay, so you've seen this image before. In fact, I had it on the slides 2 weeks ago when we talked about shading, so it should be very familiar, unless you didn't do that lesson, but you can always go back and do the old lessons. So there is a shiny white spot. There is some light green next to it. Then there's some medium green, and then eventually there's some dark green. And then we have the shadow down here, which is black. If we didn't have the shading, that form, or the illusion of the form, would just look like a flat oval with a triangle sticking out of it, if we just think about the shapes. So shading can do a lot to change the shape to a form, which is what we're going to work on today. How are we going to do it? How are we going to make this magic happen? Well, like I said, we're going to use oil pastels. And your finger, where's my finger? Oh, it's green. I'll wash it eventually. But you can tell I was practicing. I had to warm myself up to remember how to do this. So we are going to do some value changes with oil pastels, even though we might be limited in our colors. Maybe you don't have white. I'll be honest, I don't know who my art teacher is, but she didn't give me a white oil pastel. So I'm going to just kind of use the white of the paper, and the white of the paper is going to be my white. It's easier if I had a white oil pastel, but that's okay if you don't. So I'm going to do it without, but if you had one, adding white at the end is the way to go. I'll tell you about that in a sec. It's pretty fun. This is some blending, but which is different than blending with a colored pencil. With blending with oil pastel involves how hard you're pushing with oil pastel, but also showed you my green finger. You can also do some smearing. So some of you are already comfortable with oil pastels, but for some of you this might be new. So I'm excited to teach you. It's a simple concept. Oh, I already spilled the news. We're going to use oil pastels. It's not super complicated, but it will allow you to do a lot of things. So I don't know what you already know about oil pastels. I'll be honest. I can't even remember what I did yesterday, let alone what we did last year. So have we done oil pastels together before? Probably. I can't imagine we haven't because they're my favorite. So what do oil pastels look like? I'll pretend that I'm talking to the kids who are new to Endeavor. They kind of look like a crayon. Can you see that? It's like a crayon, but it doesn't have a pointy tip to it. Now, you might have some of this brand in your baggie. You might have had a bigger, like a thicker oil pastel that are Crayolas. I mix them all together because I like both brands. What do they feel like? The paper, they feel hard. If you just barely touch them to your finger, like they kind of feel like chalk a little bit. But when you push really hard, that's where you get that oil. Thus the name, oil pastels. Shockingly, they're made of oil. What tricks can you do? Oh, I love oil pastels. You can blend, you can mix two colors, you can change the value by pushing hard or pushing soft. You can kind of scratch through them and do something called sgraffito. Oh, we did sgraffito. Didn't we do it in third grade? Oh, I can't remember. What else can you do with oil pastels? You can add like thick texture to them, almost like building it up, almost like it's paint. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I love oil pastels. I think of them like the control of a crayon, but the blending ability and mixing ability of paint without the water, without the drying time. So I love them. And what are you still thinking about them? What are you wondering? How to wash your hands? Um, they come off. It's not as big of a deal because we're at home. But remember when we're at school and we're all trying to wash our hands in 22 seconds and your teacher's waiting to come pick you up, take you back to class, it's a little stressful. So I have that trick where you get a soapy paper towel and you scrub your dirty finger into the soapy paper towel. At home, you can wash your hands like normal because we're not in as much of a hurry, unless you suddenly have 22 people in your house trying to use the sink at the same time. I don't know. But that might be something you're wondering about. Do they stain your clothing? Possibly. So I'm wearing long sleeves today. I've got a little bit of a gray t-shirt coming out. I'm not super worried about it. Most of it's going to be with my fingertips, not really in my, I mean, hopefully I won't lay in my paper. But if you have other questions, you can always email me. And I think that's it. So we're going to just start with a simple circle shape. Oh, go back. Go back to here. Okay, I was going to get my head out of the way. There we go. We're going to just use a simple circle shape, which I have something I want to show you anyway, where we can bring in a little science. And we'll take this oval or circle shape and create a form, so a sphere or an egg shape. So, all right. We're going to talk first about how to clean your oil pastels. So I'm going to pause, make sure I have this document camera ready to go. And you're not even going to know that I'm pausing, so I don't know why I told you that. But if you want to pause, literally pause your video right now and go get the baggie of oil pastels, hopefully you still have some paper left. This paper is going to be better. It's a little thicker, but if you don't have the paper I gave you and you just have other paper, copy paper, whatever, that's okay. Just be aware that thinner paper tears easier. So if you're aggressively smearing, chill out a little bit. Don't smear so hard. Okay, so I'll be right back, although you don't even know that. Okay, I'm back. So much for pausing the whole thing and getting ready, because when I pause it and I try to get ready, I lose the little camera icon. So anyway, the illusion of what's happening. This is not a professional videographer studio. I know you thought it was. All right, quit being weird. Here we go. So I got my paper. I've got it, grabbed an oil pastel. I was going to show you how to clean your oil pastels, but that one's already kind of clean. So if you have one, and I actually recommend that you use a darker color today, just because, well, you'll want a darker color and a lighter color. But here's one that's kind of dirty. It's a peachy color. Oh, I used to have a dog named Peachy. Anyway, I'm going to leave myself. I was going to make myself bigger, but I don't need to do that. So here we go. Just grabbed a piece of paper. I got an old sticky note. It's out of the garbage. And how do you clean it? You just wipe it on something else. So I'm wiping it on this old sticky note, but I could also take a tissue and just kind of squeeze it in between there, and it'll get clean again. It's like magic. Why can't our rooms be this easy to clean? So all you have to do, again, if you want to get this stuff off of there, just wipe it off. Whether it's something out of the recycling bin or a tissue, toilet paper even, just wipe it off. Some people just wipe it on their skin, but then you have to wash more of your skin. So what did I say? I said grab a darker color. What we're going to do, I'll show you my example that I was working on, is we're going to try to use the colors that we have, which would be like a medium color. So I started with green, a lighter color, grabbed a yellow, or you think, hey, she said she didn't have any white. I don't have any white. That's just the white paper. It doesn't look great, but it's okay. And then I grabbed a blue to use for my shadow. Now, here is the sciencey part. So I have this egg. My next door neighbor is from Poland, and she gave me this egg, which I was like, oh, that's so nice. Anyway, it's hand painted. So it's already kind of, you can see because I have the window in front of me, there's a shiny spot on it, a reflection, but I also have this lamp. So there we go. I think that's even better. There it is. Okay. So when I put the light source to, this is always backwards for me, to one side, I'll just say that, you'll see the shiny spot appear, and then opposite is where the shadow is. So it's always going to be darker, and you're going, yeah, that's because that part's painted black. So let's say I spin it. It's still darker over here. Those sweet little yellow flowers almost look like gray yellow flowers right now. And then the shadow is over here on this side. So it's opposite. Your shiny spot is always going to be opposite the shadow. Now, if, it's almost like the sun, isn't it? If the sun or the lamp is straight above, the shadow gets smaller. You can still see it, but it definitely is getting smaller. Oh, unless I come to the side. That was fun. Or the other side. Ooh, I could actually just do this for hours. This is fun. Okay. I'm easily entertained, you guys. If I come over to this side, watching that light, the shiny spot is really obvious now. The shadow is coming out the other side. And that's still with all the bright light coming in through my window and a lamp and a lamp. But this is the brightest light. So it's closest to it, and it's allowing us to see and play with the light source and the shadow. Again, I could just do this. I'm staring the sun. All right, I'm getting weirder. Okay, that's too bright for my eyes. So now how are we going to do that with just oil pastels? It's not as hard as you think. So I'm going to go with this. I'm calling this one my medium color. That's probably not the best choice because I don't know that I have much darker. I maybe have like a dark blue. I actually do have black. I could use brown too. Okay. So the key is that you have a medium color, dark color, and then a light color. And you want them to kind of go together. So what matches purple but is not purple? Well, I do actually have a light purple. If I didn't, I could use a pink. Boy, that fell right out of its paper. So there's my value changes, medium, light, and then dark. Although, I don't know, I could argue right now and say that the purple is probably darker than the brown. But when I use the brown for a shadow, it's going to work out. Okay, so a simple circle is what we're going to start with, except don't color the whole thing in. So you have to leave part of it white, even if you end up coloring it later. So drawing a circle. I could have used the circle trick. I could have traced something round. I just went with it. I was like, if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. If I decide that my light source is on this side, my shadow will be over here, and vice versa. Over here, I always do my light source on that side with my shadow on this side. Should I try something opposite? Ooh, that could be hard. Okay, so I'm going to really lightly draw a circle. Does anybody love olives? That looks like an olive right now. Okay. Now I'm going to color hard. I'm pushing hard. So if you've used oil pastels before, you know that they create that oily, slick surface, which is what we want. And I'm just coloring it in. I'm working on the opposite side as I'm getting closer to the circle. I'm gonna ease up a little bit. So some of the white paper is going to show through. Oh, how about that funny little noise? All right. I couldn't make it stop. There we go. I am filling it in for the most part. Like I'm not leaving big white spots over here. There's a little one, but and then there's crumbs all over. So beware the crumbs. If you get your arm on those, they will get on your clothes. Or if you put them on your, I don't know what your house looks like. Maybe do you have white flooring? I don't know, but it will get on there and kind of smear. So just be aware of that. The finger I prefer to use is now green. So I'm going to go with a different finger, my pinky, and I'm just going to start to smear. I'm going to push those crumbs back in there. And as I'm smearing it, it's filling in some of those little white spots that I didn't fill in. And I'm also getting a purple pinky. Say that 20 times fast. Purple pinky, purple, purple. I can't say it even once. And now as I'm coming closer, I'm making sure my finger is moving in a curved direction. If I just start going horizontal or vertical, I'm going to lose the roundness that I'm trying to create. So as I'm coming around the white part, I'm still curving, curving. You're like, I can't believe how easy this is. Why is this a whole art lesson? Because you might want to do more than one. What if you filled up the whole paper? It would look like a whole bunch of marbles or gumballs. Would that be kind of cute? Voila, you guys. So as I got closer to the circle, the white part, I kind of left it. It's a little bit purple, but it's also showing the white coming through. Now, what could I do if I messed that up or didn't like it? Kind of in the same way that I put the yellow in the white spot here, I could come in with a lighter color. Oh man, you guys, I liked it better before. Oh well. And I took the lighter purple and I just filled it in. But notice, I don't know if you watched, I was using my hand in a circular motion and making going curve, curve, curve. And now I'm actually going to overlap. So now the pinky purple is going to go on top of the darker purple. And now, so it's not just like light purple, dark purple. They're going to blend. Now I'm going to take my purpley finger. I'm okay with this. And I'm going to blend them together, but going in curvy motions. Curvy motions. So nothing, if I'm working circular, I don't want to go anything straight today. I want it to all be curvy. Now, I don't know if you just saw what happened, but I was pushing so hard that I actually started to kind of like scrape the oil pastel off the paper. It was getting really yucky. So that tells me, done, don't do anymore. I could take what's on my finger right now and kind of practice putting the shadow in. Now remember when I was using the lamp and the egg and it was leaving that shadow? You guys, I could be done right now. I think that looks kind of cool. Or I could use the brown, how I use the blue here, and draw that shadow. In fact, I'm going to leave it because I actually kind of like it. It reminds me of just exactly what we saw when I had that little egg on here from my neighbor. This will be fun. Okay, I'm going to do a smaller one. Don't forget to leave the white spot. Pushing kind of hard. Yikes. I'm going to run out of fingers here, huh? So I did a brown circle. Ooh, I don't think this one's going to look as smooth. Partly, oh, you guys, I'm messing up because my finger is like smearing the brown outside the circle. Well, nobody has to know that that's how small that circle was. I'm just going to hide it underneath some more oil pastel. Now, I don't know, are you working along with me? That'd be kind of fun. I hope you are. I could leave the reflection like that. I could put the shadow underneath here. Watch what happens if I take and I put the shadow down here. So that didn't work like I wanted it to. I'm going to have to kind of color it lightly. I'm not doing a circle. What shape am I coloring right now? It's an oval. I'm going to make an oval and then, again, get in there and really smear it out. Curvy, curvy, curvy. Is it happening? Are you starting to see it? Does it look like the ball is above, like in the air, and then now the shadow is down below? That's what I was hoping for. It's okay. I wonder if I kept fooling around, maybe even if I took a pencil and like drew a table line. Does that help? Yeah, kinda. Looks like the shadow is on the table below. If you have black oil pastel, I don't know what everybody got. Everybody got different stuff. You could make your shadow black. Whoa. Shaking the whole camera. And coincidentally, there's like a jet going over my house at the same time. So it's like, it's very dramatic over here. Shaking the world. There he goes. That's kind of fun. So as simple as this lesson of today is, we're just drawing circles, coloring them. Yes, but no. I want you to play around, maybe do multiple, maybe 3 on a paper, and play around with your dark, your medium, your light. Leave that reflective spot, and then just play around with your shadows. Where are you going to put your shadow? Because it tells a completely different story if it's close to it than if there's some space between it. All of a sudden, I'm bouncing the ball. So, kind of fun. And let's see, I think I got it all. I want to make sure I told you what to do if your oil pastel arrives dirty. I'm so sorry for your dirty oil pastels. Oh, this is probably important. Your family, whoever your grown-ups are going to be happy with me if I say this. If you have little crumbs, can you see it right there? That's the part that like your white shirt smears on it. Maybe you're working at your dinner table and then somebody gets crumbs in their food and they're like, gross. So make sure you get up any little crumbs that might be on the table or whatever. If you're working on a clipboard or on the floor, sometimes they do this on the floor. Just maybe even grab just a tissue and do a quick wipe afterward so those tiny little crumbs don't do damage. Because watch this, tiny crumb. Ooh, whoa. Imagine that gets on your pants and they're white. Oops. So um, have fun. I gotta go clean my fingers. Oh, I miss these days, you guys, where we were like messy people with dirty fingers. That's what happens when we were making art at school. Shape, form, shadows, reflection. Those are your focused things to work on today, okay? Shape into form using some simple shading. All right, take care, fifth graders. I miss you.